Hello and welcome to episode 140, and for this video I've come down to the Linear Lakes complex in Oxfordshire, and I've come on to the Hunts Corner Lake. I've not been on this lake for a couple of years. I had tried to get on here last year, but because of the nature of the lake it's always quite busy, plus many of you might know Oxley's and Hunts Corner had a bit of a shutdown period because of Oxley's had a water quality problem, so you couldn't access Hunts Corner for about 7-8 months, I think it was, if I remember rightly. So I've been wanting to get back on Hunts Corner for a while, and I'm here. You can probably see by the chaos down here to my right. I've only just got here and someone's trying to call me. Let's just turn that off. So yeah, I've only just got here, only just pitched up in a swim. Like I say, all my gear's still on the floor, I've not set up yet. I'm in peg 10. The last time I actually done a blog on Hunts Corner, a couple of years ago now, it was actually from this peg, where I done rather well on zigs that time. At the moment, while I've been looking, there's been nothing showing on the surface at the moment, so probably the first tactics will be fishing on the bottom. But I've got plenty of bait with me, floaters and spod mix, so I've got all options depending on what happens this session. Right, less waffle, let's get this lot set up until something happens. Let's go fishing. Right then guys, where I'm up to so far, it may look like the rods are out, but they're not actually out yet. So far I've just been chucking the marker rod around, trying to find some spots to fish, and I found 3 really good spots, to be fair, all at different ranges. The left hand rod is going to be fishing at just over 9 wraps, and found a really nice gravel spot on that rod. The middle rod's going to be fishing dead ahead, see where there's a big gap in the trees, or sort of the left hand side of that big gap in the trees. That's a long range rod, that's fishing at just under 18 wraps. Also found a really nice gravel spot. And then the right hand rod, which you just saw me chuck into, is about mid-range, 11.5 wraps, and again another really nice gravel spot. I've just found no weed, apart from you can see what I've just dragged in on that cast, just a tiny little bit of dead silkweed, and during all my leading around, that is pretty much about all I have found, so no real weed to worry about. And even that little bit of dead weed I'd be more than happy to fish on with pop-ups or wafters, or probably a Ronnie rig on one rod, I expect. So yeah, so 3 different ranges. That's just to cover me bases in case the fish are all at different ranges, albeit the left hand rod and the right hand rod are only sort of 2 rod lengths difference in length. And then yeah, the middle rod is just under 18 wraps, which is probably about 2 wraps shy of actually chucking it right to the far side margin. So that's me spots found. A little bit of clay as well. Once you come off the gravel spots, there's a bit of clay on the lead, so if it does land just off my gravel spots, I'm only landing on clay and maybe a bit of dead weed. So really happy with the spots that I've found. I've I'm not even going to get me deeper out this session. There's no need. I've found 3 really good spots, as I've just said. So all I've got to do now is rig up the rods and actually get fishing. Just had a bit of rain as well while I was setting up the bivvy. Just got the bivvy up in time. So yeah, like I said, 3 different ranges, and if one range starts producing more than the other, I can change the other 2 rods to that. But at the moment, I'm happy with the spots that I found. All really good, solid, and it almost feels as rough as this gravel that's in the swim. It's a real positive. Dunk, 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 dunk. Getting no lockups as well, even with the the Fox grappling lead. It's not locking up on anything, so it's no solid weed out there. So right, yeah, waffling now. So let's get the rods rigged up and actually get fishing. Right then, I told you I was going to get fishing first. I'm not. I'm going to put some bait out first. I'm going to put a bit of spod mix out. I've just been on the old Fox swim mapper app, so if I can show you that. So don't know if you can see it very well. Don't know where you can actually see that, but I see I've got me 3 little marker floats indicating me where I'm going to be fishing to. And then if none of you use this Fox swim mapper app yet, all you do is like what I've done, like you click on the marker float, and then at the bottom you can mark up your information about where you're actually fishing, like your range, what you're fishing on, the depth, and then if you get any fish or need to write any further information, you can write it on the notes. So gone are the days where you actually need a bit of a paper and a pen to write down the information. Store it all on your phone now on the Fox swim mapper app. So I'm going to have to, no, I won't have to refer to me information, because at the moment I can remember 9 and a bit wraps, just under 18, 11 and a half wraps. So I'm going to put a bit of bait out now before I actually get fishing. So if I am going to spook and swim with a bit of spodding, I'd rather do it now before I'm fishing rather than once the rods are out. Right, let's get a bit of spod mix made up and then get some bait out. Right then guys, I'm going to knock up a bit of spod mix now, so that's why you can only see my hands at the moment and an empty bucket. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to knock up for this session. So in this bucket, what I've already got mixed up, I got this from Hinders, ready prepared. It was 2 separate mixes before I put it all into one bucket. So obviously the hempers you can see, and then the other mix was sort of a bit of particle in there, what you can see, some maize, and then some little mini tiger nuts, and then I just mixed that together just to, just to save carrying too many buckets basically. So I'll knock that up together at home. So I'm going to put some into my actual spod bucket, which is probably about half of it to be fair. And then I've brought a load of sweet corn with me as well, got 4 kilos of it, so that's add about half of that in as well. And then last ingredient I'm going to add to the mix, I've got some little 10mm life system boilies, so I'm probably going to add about a kilo or the 10mm into that mix, I reckon. There we go. Maybe that might be just a little bit more than a kilo to be fair. That's the fun bit, digging with your fingers, just get it all mixed in. Oh yes. Wouldn't be fun, would it, without digging in with your hands, getting all mucky. That's half the fun of making a spod mix up on the bank. There we go. I think that's fair to say that is thoroughly mixed now. So there you have it. One sort of linear special spod mix. It's what linear's known for, living on spod mix. So a nice mix of different particles there. Hemp or other little particles, like 10 millis, mini tiger nuts and little 10 milli boilies. So basically a typical linear type spod mix really. Right, once I've rinsed my hands off, time to get some of this into the water, I think. Right then guys, we are about 3 hours into actual fishing time and first fish. £17 on the nose, taken on the left hand rod. That's out to the just over 9 wraps spot on the left hand rod. Solid PVA bag. It's some sort of pop-up in the bag. I can't remember what exactly because I had a load of PVA bags already pre-tied, and I know there was all pop-ups, but what the pop-up is I can't remember exactly. I'm going to have to redo all 3 of my rods as well, because once he come into the margins he went under and over and round all my other rods. But so I've got all 3 rods to redo, but you can't really complain once the blank's out the way. So, right, being lively, so let's get in back. Alright guys, just a little quick update just to tell you what the bait was. Once I got the rod in and I could see what the bait was, I can now tell you. It was actually a wafter, not a pop-up, as I said when I was showing you the fish. But it was a little white 12mm cream complex from West Country Baits. So that rod's back out now. I've actually put it out on a pop-up now, on a little yellow sort of 12mm dumbbell type pop-up. Because I know I've caught on white, but I've put it back out on yellow because there's a lot of yellow with the corn in the spod mix, so yellow will probably just look a bit more natural in the baited area than white. But then again, that goes against everything that's just happened because I've caught on white, so I'm just talking waffle really. Right then guys, I've just had my second capture of the session. Not a carp, but an equally as pretty fish. Bit unusual, and I haven't actually caught one of these for years and years. But how's that? A rudd. Haven't weighed it, but about a pounder I guess, but it's quite a special fish to be fair. They're quite rare in a lot of waters now, and I haven't caught one of these since I was a little kid, so yeah, I'm quite happy with this fish. It's not a carp, but because I haven't caught a carp in about a rudd in about 30 odd years, I'm pretty happy with this, to be fair. Get in on the little yellow dumbbell wasp pop-up as well that I just recast out after that carp. So not a carp, but I'm equally as happy with this, to be fair. Right guys, I know you can't see me at the moment, but it's the rig I'm gonna show you. It's the Ronnie rig. Nothing too complicated. Bit of tungsten tubing here just to keep the rig sunk down. 3.5 ounce flat pair lead. 9 inches of IQ2 in £20. It's quite a stiff IQ, the £20, so when it goes in the water it does kick the bait out when it goes down. And then I did have a yellow bait on my Ronnie rig, but I've just changed to a white bait purely because it's early evening time now, and I'm going to oh, here I am. It's early evening time now, still only on the one carp. Going to re-chuck all the rods for the evening now, and because the first carp come on a white bait, so I'm changing to white on the Ronnie rig purely just because the first carp come on a white coloured bait. Different flavour, but apart from that, this one's a bit more stinky, so hopefully that should produce some more fish. Morning gang, it's been a bit of a quiet night last night, not even a single bleep last night, so I think I might have to rethink my tactics of what I'm going to do today, even if it's just something as small as changing the type of hook bait. Absolutely biblical rain last night, absolutely hammered it down, so I was quite chuffed I didn't get a run last night. Absolutely hammered it down. I've just wound in and been round to use the conveniences, shall we say. And while I was over that side of the lake, I was just chatting to the guy over in Peg 1. He had one fish in the night, so, and he fishes there quite a lot, he was saying, and he was saying it's been really quiet for it to only have one fish. But it's a lot sunnier day today, feels a bit warmer, so I might even chuck out a few sponsor mixers in a minute before I put the rods out, just to see if I can tempt any fish up to the surface, see if it's worth putting out some zigs or floaters or something like that. I haven't totally made up my mind yet, but I might chuck out a few mixers with a spom just to sort of judge if anything's on or near the surface. Now it's a bit of a brighter day. Also, you can't see it in shot, but to my right there's a sort of a bit of an overhanging tree where the branches just sort of all touch the water. I might even sort of try my inside margin on my right hand rod. There's a little gap in the tree on the right hand side where it looks like people have gone through and fed that spot, so I think it's obvious that it's a spot that people fish, so I might even try that later on, just as a different spot. But yeah, it's definitely been a bit quiet. I mean, I've done well on here in the past. I'm fishing bits of fake sweet corn over the type of spod mix that I'm fishing at the moment, so yeah, might even try some fake corn just so me hook bait looks a bit more natural in amongst me spod mix. But it's all options at the moment. But, right, time to do something anyway. So baited up that little margin spot just to my right in front of that tree. So when I do put the rods back out, obviously I'm definitely going to put a rod on that spot now. Right then gang, I've just baited up 2 new rigs ready to put out on the 2 solid bag rods that I'm fishing. So I'm going to show you them now, and I'm going to switch tactics from fishing like boilies or wafters to actually fishing baits that match me spod mix, which is how I've done well on this lake in the past before, and is, to be fair, I think it's how I should have started really. It's a bit of a schoolboy error really to on linear not fish to match your spod mix, so I'm now going to be doing that. So little leader, about 2.5 foot long, endline lead, short 3-inch hook link, size 6 hook, and as you can see, to match the spod mix, now I've already showed you at the top of the video, this one's going to be a single bit of fake buoyant corn. I've just tested it, and the hook sits flush on the deck with the bait just wafting above the hook, although the hook will be sitting flat, not set up like that. So that's going to be that one. I'll probably put that over the right hand rod that you've just seen me baiting up, and then my left hand rod again to match the spod mix, rig exactly the same, only this time I've put a tiger on, tiger up, tipped again with a bit of fake buoyant corn, exactly the same rig, but again it's gonna match the spod mix that I've already put out. As you saw that at the top of the video, there's a few tiger nuts in my spod mix, so that is going to match what I'm actually fishing over. So like I said, a bit of a schoolboy error I think not to match the hatch as they say, especially here at linear. And then the tiger nuts I'm using are the ones from Hinders, and they're soaked in the new beetlin and plum, and then just the good old-fashioned normal beetlin for the 2 bits of fake corn. Right, let's get them bagged up and get them in the water, because I've had my rods out the water for probably about 2 hours now. That's it gang, all 3 rods are back out now for the day. The middle rod I've left on a Ronnie rig. The only difference I've changed on that rod is I've put a pink CC More Dairy Cream pop up on that one. Just sort of change the colour around a bit, because the white that I changed to yesterday didn't do anything, so yeah, just gonna change the colour, see if that produces anything. Only about a minute ago, just before I got the camera out to film this piece, a fish boshed out right in front of that tree where I showed you I was baiting up and then I cast to, so it's a good sign. Right, time to relax for a few hours now. Next bit of carpy action will probably be a bit of spod mix going out around about midday, 1 o'clock ish. Unless the fish comes before that, of course. And gang, just to update you with what I've just been doing, I've just spommed out a load more dog mixers, maybe about a dozen midi spoms worth I suppose. Before I spommed them out, just lightly drizzled them in a bit of tuna oil for a bit more attraction, but more importantly to flatten off the water where I've been spomming to, for you know, so when the water's flat you can see a bit better what's going on out there. It was just to see really if any fish are coming up near the upper layers or onto the surface to take them, to, you know, to see if it's worth switching to zigs yet, or over depth zigs as I've done well on here before. But basically, no, not one single fish has shown as near the surface. None were taken at all. So, as warm and sunny as it is, for some reason the fish are either not here or they're just not coming up for the floaters. So for the time being I'll stick with the bottom bait fishing. But yeah, it's well, it's still quiet since yesterday, I'm afraid. Right, get back to chilling and relaxing, and hopefully some fish might show themselves soon. Afternoon gang, I've just had my first positive indication of fish on one of my spots all day. Just had a few bleeps on my right hand rod. The rod that I showed you, I chucked to my inside margin on my right hand side. Just had a few little up and down bleeps on the bobbin. Nothing's come of it low, but it's the first indication of fish on one of my spots I've had all day. So it's been quiet, but I've had an indication. Woohoo! It's been that quiet this afternoon. I've had time to sit down and tie up 10 new PVA bag rigs, steaming, shrink tubing, the lot. So if I blunt any hooks, I've got 10 new rigs to replace them with now. So something positive has come of this afternoon's fishing. Yeah, apart from that, nothing much to update you with, apart really. Yeah. Evening gang. It's 7 o'clock in the evening now, and still, as earlier, absolutely nothing has happened. In my bit of water, absolutely no signs of fish. Earlier on I tried chucking out some more dog mixers again, really oiled them up so that when I cast them out it would flatten all the ripples on the lake, so I could see if any fish would be in my area on or near the surface. And no, there isn't. So I've made a decision that I'm not going to recast my rods this evening to go into the night. As I said earlier on, the right hand rod's got a bit of fake corn on. Well, that's a forever bait really, so it doesn't need recasting. The left hand rod's got the tiger nut tipped with a bit of fake corn. Well, that's virtually a forever bait, so that's not going to lose its sort of, you know, flavours and what have you. And the middle rod with the CC More pop-up on it. I know from experience that the CC More pop-ups, they'll easily keep a Ronnie rig buoyant for over 24 hours. So rather than spooking a swim with extra casting, which would basically just be for recasting sake, I'm not going to bother. So keep any disturbance in our swim down to a minimum. In case on the off chance, just in case any fish are moving down into my part of the water, you know, recasting could spook them up away again. So yeah, so I'm not going to recast this evening. But if you can see any wafts of smoke coming up in front, I'm just lighting, or just lit the barbecue for the evening. But no, the only activity that's been in front of me all day really is a grebe. He's catching plenty of fish though. Well, good morning gang. Another quiet night. It's become fairly obvious now that the fish just aren't down this end of the lake. The guy from Peg 1, he's just come round and had a bit of a chat. And as opposed to 2 nights ago, last night he was just saying there was no boshing out in front of his swim whatsoever. I saw one fish bosh out at yesterday tea time on the far bank, and that was it. Apart from that, there has been absolutely no activity or signs of fish down this end of the lake whatsoever. So still early yet, it's only 7 o'clock now. I've got to 2 o'clock this afternoon fishing time, but I don't think I'll be staying that long. I was contemplating staying a third night, but I'm going to knock it on the head. I'm probably even going to pack up early, to be fair, because there's just no fish at this end of the lake. That end of the lake is busy. There's only one empty swim on the lake at the moment, which is Peg 2, which is still this end of the lake. So right, I'm gonna have some breakfast. I might even wind in the rods and knock out a few zigs for the last few hours. I don't know, I haven't even made up my mind yet what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely not staying a third night like I'd sort of half planned to. But yeah, right, I think I'm going to have some breakfast first, because if the fish aren't feeding, I still am. Right, and gang, I'm down to my last few hours of fishing now, and I'm going to change tactics slightly for the last few hours. I'm putting 2 rods on zigs. The middle rod on the Ronnie rig is staying on the Ronnie rig. The only difference is I've chucked it literally to the far bank now. I'm only probably about 2 foot off the far bank margin now, which is probably about 100 yard cast. And then the left hand rod I've already just chucked out. I've put a 2 foot off, maybe 2.5 foot zig on that left hand rod. I was about to cast it dead out in front when literally a fish boshed out over to our left, so obviously that went over to the left. And then this zig is at the other end of the scale. Got a little zig bug on this one. There's just a little bit of plain black and yellow foam on the left hand one. This is like a little kind of zig bug, and this one's obviously going to go over to the right hand side. But yeah, this is the other end of the scale. This is a long 8 foot zig, so this one will probably just be maybe about a foot below the surface if I chuck it over to the right. So a few hours fishing left yet. Let's hopefully a change of tactics can bag one more fish before I go home. If I can get me bug on the lid. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's roughly where a fish showed earlier on as well. Coming to the end of the session now. You can just about see me rods still out, but that is the only thing that's out now. Gonna knock it on the head now. It's just flogging a dead horse here, I think. For whatever reason, the fish this session just haven't been down this end of the lake. Not in numbers anyway, just the odd fish here and there. But yeah, it certainly hasn't been as kind to me this lake as it has in previous blogs and sessions. So yeah, sometimes you just got to know when to call it a day and knock it on the head, which I'm doing now. Like I say, it's not been a blank, so it's not been all bad, but I was hoping to catch a bit more than what I have done. I think I'm basing that on sort of my past experiences on this lake, where I've always done well, to be fair, without sounding too big-headed. But yeah, gonna knock it on the head now. I'm actually gonna pop down the syndicate now for 48 hours, so hopefully I can have a bit more success there. So obviously I can't film on the syndicate, so that won't be a blog. So the next time you're going to see me, I'll be at Tobber Manor and on the Big Hayes Lake. But till then, tight lines.